Welcome to the original SEC versus Big Ten podcast. This is Ron from Oakland, live in the streets from Oakland, California. What's going on, folks? Yes, last episode we discussed who we thought would finish last in the SEC West and who would finish sixth in the SEC West. And we came up with Arkansas finishing above both schools, Mississippi State finishing above both schools, and that's Auburn at 7 and Texas A&M at 6. Why did we say that? Well, check out the last episode. We're on to number 5 and number 4 today. And that brings us to Arkansas, number 5. That's who we're talking about. Arkansas. Now, I'm going to look at their schedule right now. I'm not sure exactly why people would be shocked that they would finish above Texas A&M, besides thinking that Texas A&M might beat them. But I told you it's about team and it's about the line of scrimmage. Sam Pittman is one of the best offensive line coaches in the SEC. He's got a career of developing good, solid offensive lines. He did a great job at Georgia. His recruiting helped Georgia win those national championships. He's been physical, and so he has some talent. And the schedule's a little favorable to win some games. There's some games I think he might not win, and I didn't pick him to finish third. I didn't pick him to finish first or second. So I picked him to lose some games, and I picked 4 teams above them. So they're losing at least 4 games, at least unless there's a tie somewhere. And so I'm looking at September 2nd. They open up at home, not against BYU, not against Cincinnati this year, not against a tough opponent, somebody they could get their first and second string together with, and that's with Western Carolina. Western Carolina is not expected to come in and make any noise, so that should be an easy game to stroll through. We're not going to sit on that game, but they should be comfortably 1-0 and with like a 38-14 kind of win or 45-22 kind of win. So they stay at home the following 3 weeks. They have Kent State week 2, so they're building up in competition, but not enough competition where it matters. They're not going to stress their starters. KJ Jefferson is going to get the first half, maybe going to the third quarter with a first drive or 2. Then you're going into your backups. Kent State, you're starting at 2-0. Now you get a little competition, a little warm up. You get a little warm up the following week. Your last year you went on the road against BYU. This week we have them at week 3. They come into hot Arkansas on September 16th. And that should be a win for Arkansas. They should get that game this year. I think the running game, they stick close to the running game, use KJ Jefferson wisely, attack the perimeter, use the speed that they have. They should be able to out-talent BYU easily in this game and go 3-0. Now we're looking at what is week 4, and that's their first road game of the year. And it's probably going to be a night game down in Baton Rouge. We're talking about yes, the Bengal Swamp, the Swamp Bengals. Yes, sir. We're talking about LSU on the road, not in October, not in November, but in September. This is your first game. You're opening up. LSU's already played Florida State. They've been in big games, so I expect this to be a loss right here. So we're talking about one loss. And now you're talking about who you got next. You got Texas A&M next week. I got Arkansas beating Texas A&M. Last year they should have won the game. You're about to drop it in, and KJ Jefferson is living with that every day. It's like, how different is the season if I score that touchdown? And if he scores that touchdown, Arkansas is having a much better season. They're looking much better prime for a better 2023 season. So now they're entering October 4-1. That's great, because now you got Ole Miss on the road, and that should be an L. You just got a big win. You beat Texas A&M, and now you deal with Lane Kiffin, who's a much better coach, and it's going to be a much better team. It's on the road. It's not at home. and you're going to have a hard time with those boys. So, yeah, we're looking at loss number 2. And then following week, you're going right into Alabama. Doesn't get any easier for you. That's another loss on the road. Now you at Mississippi State at home, and this is where, you know, I think you should be able to win this game. You should win the game. You have more talent, but Mississippi State is a little more deeper. And I think right now what I'm looking here is you already play LSU, you already play A&M, you already play Alabama, you're already playing Ole Miss. You're exhausted. Your team, your debt is, you haven't had the bye yet. You need a bye. You're going into this bye stumbling. And so, do you pick this win up at home, or does Mississippi State, a more experienced team, win this game? And I have Arkansas losing this game, Mississippi State. That's right, folks. 3 straight losses after a big win against Texas A&M. They go into after that a bye in October 28th, and they're looking at, okay, we just lost at home. We just lost 2 road games, then we lost at home. Now we're going on the road to the Swamp. They go into the road, and Florida just played Georgia, and they're in the road. And this is Florida's first game in almost a month in the Swamp. Those Rowdy Reptiles, I'm expecting, they're a more talented team. I think they have more depth. And I think this is another loss. So you're talking about 4 losses in a row for Sam Pittman. This is going to be tight games, though. So no pressure. And I said they're not finishing last, so there's hope. Because I have them winning the last 3 games after that, because they're finishing the last 3 games of the season at home. Next week they have Auburn, then they have FIU, Florida International, then they have Missouri at home. Folks, that's 3 wins right there. That's 2 wins in the SEC. And so you got your other win with Texas A&M. That's 3 wins in the SEC. And now keep the streak on the line, because Sam Pittman since 2020 has won at least 3 SEC games every year. And he's getting his 3rd one against Missouri. I got them beating Missouri this year. I got Missouri losing a lot of games this year. So you Missouri Tigers fans understand that. So you play Florida, you play Missouri every year. I got you going 1-1, splitting your cross rivals, division foes, and that's pretty good. We're using SEC podcast, that SEC podcast graphics right now, and we're looking at them. And so I'm looking at the teams. I'm like, that's not bad for Arkansas. I mean, you're going 4-0 in your non-conference game, and you're winning 3. So that's a 75 season. You're going bowling. That's better than, so you got an 8-5 year out of KJ. I know you want more, and it's possible. And the more game is, do you beat Mississippi State at home? Can you beat Mississippi State at home? And I know a lot of fans are saying, well, we're going to beat Florida. I don't know about that. I don't think that's what's going on this year. I think Arkansas and Kentucky are 2 teams where I look at where they have great talent. But it's about when you play Arkansas. It's about when you play Kentucky. And the later in the year you play either team, the more unhealthy you're seeing their roster of attrition. And that's where I think when you hit after Alabama, that LSU run from LSU, Texas A&M to Ole Miss to Alabama, that's a stretch where you're playing a lot of good talent teams. You're playing all the best players you possibly can. And you're going to be lucky if you got a quarterback that's still healthy. You're going to be lucky if your running back is still healthy. You're going to be lucky if your defense is still holding up. And that's the problem with Arkansas. They don't have the depth. And so now that brings to you, I told you Texas A&M was going 2-6 in the conference. I got them going 6-6. I have Ole Miss going 4-4 in the conference. Auburn was tied with Texas A&M with 2-6 record. Arkansas is going 3-5. So that's pretty accurate. You know, that's what we're looking at here. You know, who's gonna win those tough games? Like, I can see Mississippi State dropping some games, but I'm giving Mississippi State a little credit, and that's what we're moving into. We're talking about the Mississippi State Bulldogs who've lost their head coach. Unfortunate. No one thought or saw it. And because of the pirate, I didn't want to do it in the beginning of the show, but SEC Podcast Cozy here in the Florida Gator colors. I'm going to crack that little. All right, have a little swig here, a little intermittent swig. Refreshing. Did that just for the show. So, yeah, the Pirates, rest in peace, man. That was a big loss for the entire SEC, mainly Mississippi State, of course. Possibly the best coach they probably ever had. Probably could have crushed all of Dan Mullen's records if he had the opportunity. So this year they're going into a more defensive phase. And so why I like this move for year one with this veteran laden team is in the SEC is known. It is known. But a lot of college football really don't understand this. Only very, very few fan bases really understand this, that it's not about making hires to change your defense. It's about what the offense does. And good defenses only dwell among certain type of offenses. Certain type of offenses that allow defenses to be dominant are offenses that are about dominating the line of scrimmage. And that's where Mississippi State is going to be focused on this year. They're going to be focused on running the ball and stopping the run. Something that they did surprisingly pretty well last year. And they have one of the most experienced quarterbacks in Will Rogers. And when you focus on running the ball, you start using more play action. And when you start using more play action, you start identifying more deep patterns to expose the defense based on where you're trying to redirect the safety's eyes and their legs. So there is a strong possibility that we're looking at a really good Mississippi State team. And we're going to look at their schedule now. They have an interesting schedule, and we're going to go through this because, like I said, Texas A&M and Auburn only have won in 2 games each, with Texas getting a win over Auburn to break that tiebreaker there. And we said that Arkansas is only going to do 1 game better. So they're going 3-5. And now, in order to do better than this, there has to be either a tiebreaker between Arkansas and Mississippi State, which I kind of hinted at last, is that in order for Mississippi State to do better, they're going to have to beat Arkansas. And I think that's going to be a possible road win. If I give every team 1 road win, that's the one I'm giving them. And I gave Arkansas the game against Texas A&M because that's a neutral site game. So week 1, Southeast Louisiana, easy game. Mississippi State, they're going to get their flex their muscles, get ready, because next week they're going to host Arizona Wildcats. I'm not expecting much of that game. I'm expecting 35 kind of game there. So whether or not Mississippi State makes that into a rougher game than it should be, it's all up to them. And so it gets a little bumpy afterwards because now, Mississippi State plays South Carolina and they play Kentucky. And they open up the SEC conference in week 3 immediately, hosting LSU. And LSU's coming real strong because I got them beating the mighty Florida State Seminoles by a lot. I think that defense, Harold Perkins, is going to really flash this year, and he's going to be a problem for a lot of quarterbacks. So already out the door, 2-1. You're going on the road to South Carolina. I'm going to give you that loss. That's 2-2. You're 0-2 in the conference. Then you have Alabama at home to end September, and unfortunately, that's also going down. Alabama has the talent to strain Mississippi State's offense and defense. I think Alabama's going to pound the ball a lot. So Mississippi State is going to try to play Alabama ball against Alabama. That's not working. And so, now you're under 500, but you get a break because you have week 7. You're still at home. You've only been away from home one time in the first 6 weeks of the football season, and you're at home against West Michigan. That's a warm-up game now. You're warming up. You got the running game rolling. Will Rogers is throwing faster than you ever seen because after those ass whoopings 3 straight weeks, they're just getting better now. And so now they're going into a lot of momentum. Okay. They're about to win 3 in a row here. They're winning against West Michigan. Now they go on the road against Arkansas and pull off the upset because they've been at home so long. They're ready to get away, and now they're ready to shut mouths up. And so not only are they going on the road against Arkansas, they are again on the following week, they're going to Auburn. And I have them winning this game as well. So Auburn's not ready yet. They're dealing with a lot more attrition than Mississippi State will because Auburn doesn't have the talent. They have Brian Harsin talent with a lot of transfers coming in. Hugh Freeze will get Auburn right eventually, but this game goes down to Mississippi State just being the better team, defensive-minded coach, want to run the ball, have a great experienced quarterback that has a lot to show that hasn't been shown on tape. And so now we get to the November 4th battle. Okay, after all this, you won the first 2. You lost 3 in a row, then you won 3 in a row. And now you're 2-3 in conference. You got 2 wins, baby. And now you're playing Kentucky at home. You just won 2 road games. So Vegas is going to be like, Mississippi State has this. They should beat Kentucky. But hold on, folks. Don't think this is going to be an easy home game. Now you're playing against a much better team again, and they're going to be able to score. Kentucky can possibly lose this game. They have Kentucky slowing down the roll of Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Wildcats get a little bulldog in their dinner that night, and they drop down to 2-4 in conference play. Now, that pisses them off because they're going on the road next week, and everybody's going to write them off. Everybody has Mississippi State losing against Texas A&M, the lowly Texas A&M, and unfortunately, Texas A&M is going to pull this incredible feat to lose this game. That's right. Texas A&M is losing at home against Mississippi State, who just lost at home against Kentucky. And they're on the road 2 weeks in a row. So people's going to be like, what? You lost to LSU at home, Alabama at home, Kentucky at home, but you're winning against Arkansas, Auburn, and Texas A&M on the road? Who is this team? They win the next week as well because they're playing Southern Miss somehow late in the season before their Big Egg Bowl game. And now you won 2 in a row. You know, you started off the season with 2 wins. You got 2 wins. You have 3. So, that's 7 wins right now. You're going for your 8th win. You're going for the 8th win. But do you get it? We don't know, folks. We don't know. But I'm going to lean with Ole Miss right here. I think Mississippi State can win this home game. But it's just I feel like this is a team, when you got a new coach that's defensive minded, you might play better on the road against the noise, against the crowd, being at home. They possibly could go win this game. I got Mississippi State losing this. They could win against this game and Kentucky. They could lose to Auburn. They could lose to Texas A&M. They could lose to Arkansas. This is all toss-ups. This is all games. But we're looking at talent, returning talent. We're looking at coaching. look at how you recruited, how you've been developing, and they're not going to lose much in Mississippi State. But I think they're going to be more physical than they have in the past because they're going to be focused on stopping the run and running the ball. And so Southern Louisiana, Southeast Louisiana, West Michigan, Southern Miss, Arizona. That's 4 wins right there. Then you have Arkansas, Auburn, and Texas. That's 3 wins. That's 7 and 5, going 3 and 5 in the SEC. That's a great year for Mississippi State. And the reason why they finish up, because I got them edging over on the road against Arkansas, which gives them the edge. Now, most people probably have Arkansas winning that game, and I'm not doubting it, but I'm just going with the motivation of the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule, looking at who they both play, and I just see, attrition and who you play. And, sometimes you get that little break when you have these little small games in between big games. That allows your team to kind of recuperate. And that's what I'm seeing so far. So this is Ron from Oakland. Episode 2 is done. It is done. Hit the like and subscribe button, please. Start following us. We're about to get bigger. I recently commented on Cole Kubelik's show, said, hey, we should do a show. Talk about the line of scrimmage in the SEC. He said yes. So I'm ready to start doing some homework so I can call him out and say, hey, I'm ready, baby. Give me the film and I'm ready to do some homework. We're ready to go over this. Season is hitting very soon. August 31st, we're going to see Florida, Utah. So games are coming. They're coming really fast. So we're coming soon with the before we get to the top half of the SEC West, we're going to start breaking down who finishes 7 through 4 in the SEC East next. Ron from Oakland, once again, live here in Oakland, California. Thank you for watching the original SEC versus Big Ten podcast. Out and over. Have a wonderful day.